Fox Soul challengers Quanell X and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Israel launched a preemptive attack on Iran's nuclear program and military targets overnight. They killed 4 senior commanders. Iran said they considered the attack a declaration of war. In retaliation, they launched more than 100 drones towards Israel. Israel said that most of these had been intercepted. People in Iran awoke this morning stunned at what had taken place. The German chancellor called for de-escalation, and in an unusual move, Russia strongly condemned the attacks. This is a shift from Putin's policy of largely balancing partnerships in the Middle East. Meanwhile, on his social media site Truth Social, President Trump warned Iran to make a deal with the United States, as already planned attacks could be even more brutal.
Here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. We were not going to do a show. We have decided to do one by Zoom as we sit on the precipice of possibly World War III. We thought it was important for us to talk about and not to make light of this very serious situation. I do appreciate our producer, Matt, who is, for the first time on the camera with us, finding a podcast to post with a junkier closet or office to sit in than Matt actually has from his Montrose area apartment here in Houston.
Listen,
but absolutely serious. We have Israel attacking Iran in an effort allegedly to prevent them from achieving nuclear capability that would allow them to touch not just areas in the Middle East, but our allies in Europe with nuclear weapons. Now, we do not know if that is true. That is Netanyahu's position. There seemed to be early on some discord between the American government's narrative with with Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying, you know, this was purely Israel acting on its own, and then with the Israeli government suggesting instead that it had coordinated with America, and America was aware prior to the attack. President Trump seems to have confirmed that he was, and his administration was in the loop on this. We also have American companies that were involved. Palantir apparently assisted in the very, very uniquely targeted attack that has crippled or allegedly has crippled the air capabilities of the Iranian Air Force, has taken the life of a number of scientists in its nuclear program and a lot of its military leaders. The last death toll I heard just in Tehran was 78 people. The Iranian government is saying that a number of residential areas were targeted. And so, of course, their story is very different. The big question is, does this cascade? Are there dominoes here? Are there going to be, is Russia going to get involved? Is China going to get involved? Is America going to get involved? Is NATO going to get involved? And does this threaten the entire world? And, I think it will be contained, but this is very serious.
Yeah, and I'll say this much, Charles, kind of going off of that too. One of the big things that I thought about when I heard this is, World War III is here. Like, that's what it feels like whenever I hear about this. And like, obviously there's been a lot of issues between Israel and Iran. And when it comes to the Middle East, I think that a lot of viewers here and a lot of people, including my circle and stuff, it's just great. There's something else that's happening here globally. Like, what gives?
Right. First of all, we don't use that sort of profanity here on Fox Soul or Fox 26 there, Mr. Horn. But yeah, I mean, we've got the No Kings this weekend protest. There is some fear of real violence we've seen some real violence in Los Angeles, although it's been downplayed by the Democrats. And I think with COVID, with decades of never-ending wars in the Middle East and South Asia, I think we're all just tired of this conflict. I know I am. Quanell, thoughts?
Gentlemen, let me say this to you. Benjamin Netanyahu is a warmonger. Benjamin Netanyahu is a criminal against the Israeli people who is still facing a pending criminal indicted trial for corruption. Benjamin Netanyahu has been condemned by most of the civilized nations of the earth because of the genocide in Palestine. Now, Mr. Netanyahu, while the Trump administration is attempting to negotiate a peacemaking deal, a positive, peaceful way forward with the Iranian government, so there won't be conflict between Israel and Iran in the Middle East, Netanyahu, I absolutely believe, went in on his own and attacked Iran without President Trump's permission. Because to do this, while the Trump administration is negotiating with the Iranian officials, and Trump is speaking as though they're making progress, then Israel turns around and bombs them now, potentially taking them back to the Stone Age eventually. That's desire. When you hear Mr. Netanyahu say, with the help of God, we'll have additional, more successful strikes. This is a man that believes he's on a mandate from God to bomb another nation. The very people, the Trump administration in the Iranian government that they were negotiating with, their negotiating partners, were assassinated last night in Iran. What a lot of people don't understand who's supporting Israel in this. China is an ally of Iran because Iran exports so much of its oil production to China. Russia also is a great purchaser of Iranian oil. What Israel has done now is interrupted the flow of oil and currency from China to Iran, from Iran to China, vice versa with Russia. Both of those nations have an invested interest in the survival of the Iranian government. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to be forced to not side with Israel. They're going to have to side with Iran, the same way the Russian government sided and military supported and helped the Syrian regime when it was under attack internally from civil war. The Assad regime had to leave. They were eventually overthrown, but they stayed an additional 3.5 years with Russian military support. Russia has a greater interest in Iran's survival. This concerns me, gentlemen, that this potentially has a greater worldwide global conflict, and I think that's exactly where we headed. The Israeli people deserve better than Benjamin Netanyahu. The Iranian hardliners, who many of their own people don't support, in particular the young people, they deserve better. But are you going to take innocent people's lives and play with them like what we're doing right now with this conflict?
Or you mean like when the Iranian-backed Gazans went in there and raped and beheaded and butchered kids at a concert and entire families and started this current conflict? I mean, you gave a very one-sided view. The problem, the global problem, is the intolerance of the Islamists, not just to Jews and Christians, but to other sects of Islam, right? And the portions of that faith that are intolerant of pluralism within the faith, that are intolerant of women having any rights. I mean, you've just spent this whole diatribe about Iran and China and Russia. First of all, Russia doesn't need anyone's oil. They're the biggest oil producer in the world. But we're talking about an incredibly evil regime that you just glossed over completely, right? And not just their oppression of their own people, but the elimination of Christians and Jews, absolutely, in the state of Iran. We saw it, and I will agree. I disagree with the West's treatment of in Syria, because it's just led to more control by radical Islamists who have death gangs that are going around and killing Christians. We saw it in Lebanon. Lebanon was a Christian nation where they have all been run out. We've seen it. The Coptic Egypts were killed in the Coptic Christians, which was the original Egypt. A bunch of them were murdered just a few days ago, right? Islamism is intolerant to Western freedoms. We're seeing it spill into Europe all over the place. The United Kingdom might be the first Islamic nuclear power in the next 20 years.
No, Pakistan already is. Pakistan is
I forgot about that incredibly intolerant, evil regime.
Let's say this. Pakistan is a Muslim nation with nuclear power and nuclear weapons.
that has
So,
harbored terrorists and threatened the entire
but
West
wait a
for the
minute.
last couple of decades.
So why Israel ain't bombed them?
Well, they're not, because their stated mission isn't the elimination
No,
of Israel,
that's not
where the
true.
Ayatollah
That's
and the
not true.
president of
The
Iran have
Pakistani
said for
government-
years, river to the sea, we won't
The
be
Pakistani
satisfied till all the
government
Jews
does
are
not
killed,
even
then we're coming for
recognize
America.
the nation of Israel's right to exist. The Pakistani government does not recognize Israel's right to exist. That's a fact. The Pakistani government has always stood behind the Palestinian
What's the
people.
buffer
But
between
why
Pakistan and
did not
Israel?
bomb them?
India.
Why they
Because
didn't
they're
bomb
not
them?
at war with them. Iran has stated that they're at
Israel-
war with Israel. Why are you pretending that their rhetoric hasn't been kill the Jews
One
for
second, Charles.
decades?
What I'm saying is that you have Benjamin Netanyahu,
Yeah.
whose government, his hardline government, sponsored legislation in Israel just 2 years ago to put anybody propagating the gospel of Jesus in prison for up to a year.
I know you like to
got
beat this
Benjamin
like a dead
Netanyahu's
horse, but
government who
Muslims
said
are
that no
welcomed
Christian
in
or
Israel as
Muslim
long as
should
they're
be
not
allowed to live in
terrorists.
Israel.
Okay, and terrorism is
Netanyahu
overwhelmingly
a
supported in
warmongering
Gaza.
genocidal man.
Christians and gays are welcomed in Israel. Israel's an incredibly welcoming nation. You're
No,
pushing
that is
this
not true.
Islamist
The
nonsense,
American
right?
people
There's
can go
one
and
global
research this.
religion that
The
doesn't
Israeli
allow
government
other
attempted to
religions to
pass
exist.
law to
There's
put
one
Christians
global
in prison.
religion
Go
that
and
murders
research it. It's right there for
everyone
you
that's
to see.
not of their religion and points to their religious text to support their murder.
Charles,
We have imams all
Charles,
over Europe
Charles,
talking about how
you
it's
got
apostasy
rabbis-
and blasphemy
You got rabbis
justify
that are
murder.
doing the same thing in Israel. You
No,
got
you
rabbis
don't.
that are
No,
doing
you
the same
don't.
thing in Israel.
Let's not
And I say
pretend
to the American
that there
people,
are not sects of
Google
Islam
rabbis
that are
who
completely
preaching
just
in
evil
Israel
death cults.
that
I don't think the
Christians should
Nation
be
of
murdered.
Islam is.
You
I
can't
think it's
get away from
incredibly
that,
tolerant.
Charles. You
But
got
there are
rabbis who
sects
are saying the
that don't
same
want to
type
see
of
any
harsh rhetoric
plurality.
in Israel.
They even look at the Orthodox Jews, though. A lot of the Orthodox Jews, and I'm saying this as a gay man, I wouldn't feel comfortable around a lot of the Orthodox Jews in Israel either.
You're right. You're right. The Orthodox Jews population is incredibly intolerant.
And they
But
believe
what they're
that
not
gays
doing
should be
is they're
stoned
not
to death. The
executing
Hasidic
Jews,
Orthodox
which is
Jews
what happens in
Israel
Gaza
believe
and the
that
West
gays
Bank.
should be
Let's
stoned
not
to death.
engage
Let's
in
tell the
make-believe.
truth, Charles.
I'm telling the truth. The only one that's not. Look, I don't have this holistic view of the Muslim faith because there are millions of the 2 billion Muslims in this world. There are millions of wonderful Muslims that recognize that people can be of other religions and that threatening to kill people for apostasy and blasphemy is evil
But
stuff
what
from
gave
yesteryear.
Israel
But
the
there
right to
are
bomb Iran?
more that
What
would
legal right?
the honor killing
What
of their
legal
own
right did
children.
Israel have to bomb Iran? What legal right did Israel have to bomb them?
Well, I don't like this war.
They made up one. They created one.
Hey, I don't disagree that this was an aggressive act that should not have happened, right? I don't think America should have attacked Iraq. I don't think we should be over there at all, right? But at the end of the day,
Now
what Israel is trying to do is just
they want
secure
regime
its
change.
existence.
But the Israeli
right?
government is saying they want regime change in Iran.
Well, what they want is a regime that doesn't want to wipe them off the face
But
of the
Charles,
earth, which
when
is
did that
what
ever
the
work?
leadership of Iran has said they plan
But
to
Charles,
do.
when has regime change ever worked in the benefit of Israel in the Middle East?
Yeah, we haven't seen since the Islamists have taken over. Let's talk about Iran, right? If you look at the photographs of Iran or Lebanon or all these countries before Islamic hardliners took over and subjugated women, which is something we don't talk about at all, right? Because, it's Islamophobic to mention that, like in Afghanistan, women aren't allowed to go to school. In fact, recently, the Taliban has said women can't be out in front of windows, right?
You mean the Taliban?
At some point, we need to recognize that Islamism is
you
the
mean
problem.
The Taliban, that the American government gave back control of Afghanistan to the Taliban?
Yeah, we should have.
The
It's
world
insane.
they
We
were
should have.
global terrorists
Why
and global
spend all that
forms of
money
terrorism?
and then give it all back, right? But the problem is,
It doesn't work.
Let's talk about Saddam Hussein, right? The West loved to demonize Saddam Hussein. And
Iraq was
Saddam
safer.
Hussein had a very iron grip
Iraq was safer.
on the extremists, and that's what allowed the largest, most successful secular nation in the Middle East. And it wasn't until Saddam decided to invade Kuwait. Let's talk about Saudi Arabia, right? They can be extremists and they greatly oppress their women, but they don't allow the terrorists and the extremists. And let's talk about like why. So Palestine, what we call Palestine, is only about 23% of British Palestine. 77% of British Palestine exists now in Jordan, which of course we never hear anyone talk about taking it back from Jordan. Because they're not Jews, right? So we can go through this whole game, but it's really just an evil anti-Semitism of people that just subscribe to a different religion. And there's really only one global religion that is intolerant of other religions, right? And it's
Christianity. Are you talking about Christianity?
I don't think Christianity is a pluralist. We built this country on accepting other religions.
Oh, you
right?
did?
Let's talk
You
about
did?
Christianity. Let's talk about Christianity.
Right, if you'll read our foundational documents,
And
right?
you never lived up to it. Those foundational documents were for white people, by white people, of white people, and did not include anybody else.
We don't have mosques and synagogues and Hindu temples all
You
over this
spoke
country.
of your founding documents.
Oh,
Your
my
founding
goodness.
documents
I
was not
haven't
meant for
seen-
non-white people.
I haven't seen Christians murdering people for their religion
Oh,
en
you
mass
haven't?
in this
But
country.
you know what the thing is, though?
Right?
Like, if you look at like the gay rights and stuff like that, Christians are the ones that make so many LGBTQ people commit suicide because they sit there and tell them that they're an abomination, they're going straight to hell, like a lot of other religions.
So yes, there are Christians that are intolerant of the LGBT community, right? I don't agree with that at all. But it's very different than Islamist nations where people are executed still for being gay. And in the West, right? Like, I mean, you said suicide. So probably the most brilliant man who ended World War II in the United Kingdom killed himself because he was
what
being
about Matthew
prosecuted.
Shepard right in America, who was lynched in America?
You
just
mostly,
for being gay?
well, that wasn't government action.
Just
That
for
was
being
criminal
gay.
action, and they were prosecuted. You like to pretend that these Islamist regimes aren't evil, right? And I love this
that.
LGBT for Palestine, right?
What I'm
Let's
saying
go
is
try
no
to be
one
gay
religion-
in Gaza.
No one
Go
religion
try to have a
has
gay
a
relationship
blueprint
in Gaza.
on
It's
evil.
not allowed.
Every
get
religion
killed for
has
it.
its evil sect and evil members. Every religion has that.
But there's
don't
only
try to
one
make it
that
look
has
like
a
that's all
majority of
religions
them. It's only one. It's
All right,
only
guys,
one.
let's go ahead and shift gears. We're about 17 minutes in right now. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back here in the next couple of minutes.
Hey, besties!
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time!
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, it's your girl Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 10:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Rolling!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't it alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
Well, on Fox Face Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face Off
We are given the platform here with no fear.
always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And
Shut
neighbors,
the hell up. You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Former NFL star Antonio Brown is wanted for attempted murder. That's according to the Washington Post. Brown is accused of opening fire outside a celebrity boxing event last month. That's when cell phone video caught Brown being detained by Miami police. At the time, Brown said several people had tried to rob him. The warrant calls for Brown to post a $10,000 bond and remain under house arrest until a trial date is set.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Matt, Charles, we now have learned that former All-Pro and should be first ballot Hall of Fame receiver Antonio Brown, who was a legend with both the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, winning a Super Bowl with Tom Brady at quarterback, is now wanted and being sought after for a warrant being filed for his arrest for attempted murder. An incident from last month that we've learned that involved someone, possibly a group of gentlemen, attempting to rob Antonio Brown of his jewelry. Allegedly, he defended himself. According to eyewitnesses, that's exactly what took place. He defended himself. He was arrested at the scene, didn't run from the scene, didn't leave, and was let go. Now, subsequently, after this quote-unquote, I believe, sham investigation, he's now wanted for attempted murder. Charles, I disagree with this one. It's not often I agree with Antonio Brown, but I believe in this case, the brother may be the victim of something else, perhaps some poor, lazy investigators.
Well, I think you're indicting the investigators without a lot of knowledge, right? And I'm not saying I have knowledge, because I don't think anyone does, other than the actual witnesses and the people who are there. But we know Antonio Brown, right? He was a stalwart portion of my fantasy football team for years. Big fan of his playmaking abilities and his skill. But off the field, he has had a number of legal problems, and he seems to be the face of CTE since Aaron Hernandez hung himself, right? This is a guy that has made outrageous statements. You talk about his time with the Buccaneers. He also famously just walked off the field. And it seems as if he's really made a lot of effort with his Twitter account and everything else to try to destroy his legacy. And a lot of people suspect it's because of the number of concussions and head injuries that he's received, that he's just kind of gone off the chain. So when you say that, well, this is a sham investigation and lazy, but what if they did an investigation? There's cameras everywhere nowadays. And if he wantonly shot a gun and put innocent people's lives in danger, if he misperceived that he was being robbed, that robs him of his right to self-defense in a state, Florida, that has probably the most robust right to self-defense than any other state in the union.
Not for black men, they don't.
I don't think that's fair.
They give white men that stand your ground right, but they don't give that same opportunity and the same sort of circumstances to black men. That's why George Zimmerman was set free in Florida.
Okay, but we're talking about Miami. It's an incredibly diverse city with a diverse elected officials and diversity at the very top of its
system
police
is not
department.
diverse when it comes to black men. There are witnesses that were there that night who all supported what Antonio Brown said, that this was an attempted robbery of his jewelry. But I agree with you. If he misunderstood and he overreacted, then he has to answer for the crime that he committed. But if it's true that he was defending himself against some guys potentially trying to rob him, I don't see the attempted murder charge at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where we're going to have to wait for more to be out, but it's heartbreaking because there are mandatory minimums for violent gun crimes in Florida, right? And he could end up doing decades in prison. And I hate to see it from who is arguably, after Jerry Rice, you could make a decent argument that he might be the second or third greatest to ever play the game.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 9:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 10:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 10:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Rolling!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't he alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Well, on Fox Face Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 9:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
This bar situation is not new. It has been going on for years.
We're working to get all sides of the issues attached to the party scene day and night in 3rd Ward. Tonight on The Factor Uncensored, we'll hear from community leaders, business owners who were arrested and accused of destroying the neighborhood, and residents who all want to find some middle ground. Plus, we've got the grill going on outside live of the Factor studio. You're looking at a live picture there. Ahead, we'll hear tips on how to make the most of your Father's Day barbecue.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on The Factor Uncensored tonight. We start with 2 waves of airstrikes from Iran landing in Israel's capital city, Tel Aviv. Israel has been shooting